Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Lehman. So today I'm going to do another video on how to change your doll's skin color. So I'm gonna basically what this is I'm gonna go over the different rules for changing your doll's skin tone. Now, hopefully you guys get to see this and you'll understand how I do it. Now there are several ways that you can change your doll's skin tone. One of the best ways that I've seen, one ways that I've seen people use is they like to dye their dolls. Now, most dolls that I change the skin tone on are too big to do that. I would need a giant pot, and I don't have. And plus the fact that the where I live at, like I said, we're not allowed to do that here because they will charge you, and I don't want to get put out of my apartment. So no, that's a no-no. At least for me, it's a no-no. So, but if you have a house of your own and you own your property, you can do that. You can also use spray paint to do this. So make sure before you start any of this process that you have chosen your colors. And in my case, I have decided on this Christmas green color, which is it really is called Christmas green, guys. See, Noel. At least that's what it says, Noel, on there. I always make sure I have white color. And also what you're going to need is Mod Podge. You're definitely going to need this because this is going to be an extra layer of protection for your doll. You also need spray sealant for the face, but you're still going to need this as well as this stuff here, which will be your top coat. So this will be your top coat. That, and basically all Duraclear matte varnish is basically it's polyurethane. So if you guys are wondering what this stuff is, it's polyurethane. That's all it is. There is industrial strength polyurethane, but I'm not so sure it's a good idea. You might want to find the one. This one right here is specifically, it tells you on there that it literally is specifically for acrylics and plastics, literally. There are others that go to that go for certain things like metal, steel. There's a certain type of polyurethane. I'm not sure it's a certain type that you can use for that, but I have never bought that because you have to go to a store like a painting supply store, literally. You've got to go there to get this stuff. Now, this stuff right here, you can find it in art supply stores. You can find it on AliExpress. You can, well, not AliExpress. You can find it on eBay. Unfortunately, eBay charged too much for it. The best place to get this stuff is go to Michael's. Any art supply store should carry it. And a bottle this size will cost you about $3. Unfortunately, online, they decide to jack up the price. Actually, I'm planning on purchasing a much bigger bottle than this. I do have 2 bottles of this in this size. And this little set right here is my mix. This is actually a mixture of the polyurethane and water. So I keep that. I always make sure I keep a bottle full of that. At least a half bottle. Now, if you want to mix the water and this together, I suggest you mix about that much water, but that much polyurethane. Because you want the plastic, literally. When you put it on the doll, I promise you this is permanent. There's no way to remove it, guys. Not even acetone will remove it. So when you make this decision, it is a permanent decision. Even when you're painting your dolls and you change your mind that you don't want that certain color, whatever, you will stain your doll. So the other thing is, once you're done choosing, once you've got your products that you need, paintbrushes and all that stuff like that, the next thing you need to do is choose your color. Choose your color palette. Now, the girl I'm doing right now, she's going to be 3 different colors. So, she's going to be my calico girl. So, I think, I haven't thought of it yet. She's one of my aliens. And unfortunately for you guys, you get to see the first few ones. But other than that, the last alien will be the queen alien. That's the one I want to make during Halloween. So don't worry about her. I do want a boy in this group. So yeah, there will be a male one. I haven't decided what color I want him is because I have to buy I'm going to get his wig first. So right now I'm just working him out. He might have gray hair. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to sweat about him right now. But right now I have decided on my colors. Once you decide on your colors, decide on your color palette and everything. Now, I already know I'm going to put glitter with this girl, so I have my glitter here. I keep my glitter ready at all times. And I've already chosen three colors. Now, calicos can come in any color, but I absolutely want her to be at least 3 colors. She may be 4, so we'll see what happens. I'm trying to see if I want pink in it, too. But pink might be her lipstick or something like that. So we'll see. But so the girl that I ended up deciding the color was my, you guys remember the one with the messed up leg? Oh, and I should warn you guys, you might hear some thunder and lightning. And that is because of the rainstorm that's going on outside of my apartment right now. It's supposed to get pretty bad. So hopefully the power won't go out. But even if the power goes out, it's daylight, so I'm not sweating about it. I'm just hoping that they get it back on really soon. But other than that, I'm gonna give you guys the hints and how to do this. Like I said, I can't spray paint and I can't dye. Because one thing about dyeing a doll, you gotta cover your entire kitchen. Because if you don't, whatever dye you use is gonna end up on your walls, on your stove, on your refrigerator, in the kitchen, on the sink, in the sink. So all that's going to end up. Now, the way I do it is a little more safer because I can wash away the paint anytime. Because it's acrylic paint. You can use gouache paint too, but the reason why I don't use gouache paint is because I'm allergic to it. And when I tell you guys I am allergic to this paint, if I even get anywhere near gouache paint, I start sneezing. And it's non-stop throughout the whole process. So I'm studying sneezing because this paint, because I've noticed that all the other paints I've been around, I don't sneeze. But this one right here, every time I'm near gouache paint, I start sneezing uncontrollably. So gouache paint is something I can't use. And I wouldn't use because it'd be kind of weird sitting there sneezing and trying to paint a doll at the same time. So, yeah. Now, I'm going to go over the rules for changing your doll skin tone. Rule number 1, your first layer of paint, make it thin. If you really don't need any water for this, just keep water for your brush so you can put the brush down in it when you get through painting. But you really don't need water for it. But I keep water either way it goes to wash my paint off as I go. But the first layer of paint will be very thin. And I'm going to show you what the first layer of paint looks like. Now, this girl's head has already been started. But as you can see, you can still, she's kind of splotchy. Yeah. This color is going to be splotchy for a while. Now, this is just the first layer of her paint session. But she's starting to look like I want her to look. And that goes for her head and her body. Splotchy. But this is normal. Now, when you first start painting her, the moment you finish painting her, leave her alone. Let her stay like that for a whole hour. Let her dry completely. The problem with acrylic paint is if you do not let it dry underneath, when you come back in to paint your next layer, it will remove the first layer. So you need to let this girl dry completely. Now, she's been sitting here for about an hour. I do that, like I said, my special protection. So once you're done with the first layer and it's completely dry like this, you come back and you start painting her again. Now, like I said, I'm only using this. Now the first layer, and always remember, especially if you're doing the head and the body, always remember one little trick of the trade, guys. And this trick needs to stay with you throughout the thing. One direction. Do not go in multiple directions. If you want the paint nice and smooth, one direction. So I'm going to show you what I mean. And make sure you get all the water out of your paintbrush when you're starting with your second layer. One direction. You see what's happening? One direction, thin coats, thin layers at all time. So I'm going to go ahead and start painting this girl. And I'm going to keep talking to you guys. I'm going to try to keep it about 17 minutes. But yes, you're going to see a difference. One direction, guys. If you can stay with the contours of her face and body, that helps out a lot. And make sure your paints don't have any kind of like bumps or lumps in it. And always make sure that before you start painting, that your doll is clean. That means you need to take her head to the sink and wash it. And as you can see, this is coming out great. I'm going in one direction, not multiple directions. One. Now your initial coat, you can go in multiple directions if you want to, but once you start with that second and third and fourth and fifth coat, one direction. Try to stay with the contours of the body. And as you can see, yeah. Now she's going to be blotchy because I'm not doing just one coat. I'm doing one thin coat. I do not do big coats because the thicker the paint is, you will start seeing brush strokes. And you don't want that in your doll. Thick paint, no. Thin paint, yes. Continue to paint your doll. And she will slowly start doing it. Now, it does help if you want to remove the original paint, but I didn't remove the original paint on this one. It really doesn't matter because she's going to be green anyway. So, yeah. But as you can see, her face is smooth. That's what you want. You literally do not want to see the brush strokes. But as you go through and start putting her paint, because when you put it like here, if you do it like this, now the back of her head, I'm not really worried about it. You're just putting I'm just pretty much putting her first coat on. But as you can see, I'm keeping it smooth and creamy. And that's what you want. You want that smooth look to her. And continue to paint her just like that. And you can do any color coat you want. Now, once I'm done with this, try to find something. I don't care what it is, a stick or something, to stick the head on. So when you paint, you don't have to touch it. You minimum touchy. Literally, minimum touch at all. I try not to touch this doll face at all. Period. Especially after once I paint her down, I don't want to touch her face. I don't want to touch this face at all. I want this face to stay green, and because if your fingerprints will get on her. I touched her earlier, and unfortunately, my fingerprints got on her. But luckily, this is a dark green paint, so she should not take too long to paint her. Now, notice, guys, the darker the color, the less paint you have to use, okay? That's one thing about her. The darker the color, the less paint you have to use. The lighter the color, the more paint you have to use. Make sure there's no, thickness to the paint. No thickness to the paint. Just keep painting her until you can no longer see her skin underneath. Now, this is the second coat, and I already know she's not ready yet. And I always make sure you get into the ears as well. So I'm going to let this girl, since she's drying, I'm going to let her dry. I'm going to leave her alone, let her dry 1 whole hour. Then while she's drying, the beauty about it is if you got a body to paint, you just go right to the body. You can go to the body. Now, I try to do like one side, okay? I try to do like one side at first. Since her legs are going to be a different color, I'm not really worried about painting her legs, but that is the key to doing this. Now, the one type of paint that I would never put on a doll like this is oil-based paint. I think you can use water-based paint, but I would never put oil-based paint on. Oil-based paint is not going to do the same as water-based paint. So stick with acrylics. You can use gouache paint, or I think watercolor will work as well because you can use watercolor on the face. Now, if you having problems with your paint sticking to your doll, mix your paint with this Mod Podge. It makes it stick. I know it sounds weird, but it really does because it's glue, and then to seal it, it makes it stick. So those are the rules of painting your doll and changing her skin tone. As you go through that little section I just told you guys, I'm telling you. Now, when this paint dries, as it dries, like if you let it dry for like an hour or two, like this is the second layer on her face. So I would let this dry for about 2 hours or maybe an hour and a half. That way she's sealed and good. You can use sealant on her, spray sealant. But I choose not to use spray sealant until the very last minute, until I get ready to do the face up on her. But once her face up is done, you guys, I promise you, when you put that sealant on her, it will protect her, but you will still need this in the end because this will help the paint adhere even better. It will basically make sure it does not come off. So, but before you put this on, make sure you put this on first. You put this on, then this. You'll put about 2 layers of this, and you'll put about 3 layers of this and if you can, put 2 layers of the watered down one, and then take an entire coat of the full polyurethane and put that last layer on nice and even, and same way you do the paint, you do this as well. Even though this will dry clear, not only once you put it on your doll, it will not only stick to the doll, it will also seal the doll, and she will become waterproof. Because if you do not use this after you use the Mod Podge will become tacky, and she will attract every single dust particle on planet Earth. But once you put this on her and it seals up permanently, you can take her, and if she gets dust on her, just get you a wet rag, wipe her down. Her color will not come off. Now, as for the joints, I can't tell you that'll happen for the joints because, unfortunately, you have to move the doll. Unfortunately for this girl, she will never move again. She will be permanently standing up. So it doesn't really matter because I do mine like that anyway. But other than that, yeah. Those are the items that you will need in order to do your doll. Like I said, rule number 1, choose your color. Rule number 2, stay in one direction, thin coats for each coat. Between each coat, 1 hour to dry. Because if you try to paint wet on wet, guess what's going to happen? The one you painted first is going to come right off. So I'm going to have to call it quits, guys, because this is getting late. And I will see you guys again, and I will bring you some more of this girl. When she's done and finished, I will show you what she looks like. Until then, guys, peace out. Love you. See you next time.